Hey, my name is Rhea Waller, and I'm teaching CIT48A IT Fundamentals in the Cybersecurity program here at Fresno City College. This is a 9-week, so 5 and 4 is 9. I know you know this, but it is good to just make a awareness in your brain that this is a short-term class, okay? So really important to stay up with the coursework as we move through the semester. So this topic, cybersecurity IT fundamentals, is really about what it says, which is if you're going to be in the cybersecurity vocation, or if you just want to increase your understanding of IT fundamental concepts, which most students in here are actually in the program for cybersecurity, having a good broad knowledge about IT topics in general is fundamental. Hate to use words again, but it is really important to have that because from everything, right, you build up more. Actually, I could go the other way. You have a broad scope of knowledge about IT, and then you drill down and you get more and more and more specific about topics. So you get more and more knowledge, you get more and more skill. But making sure you have that broad knowledge is important because anything could hit you when you're working in cybersecurity. There's so many layers at which really could come into play if you're working on an incident, right? Let's just say. And also because there are also so many different types of jobs in cybersecurity, right? It's just an IT job. It's an IT related job. So having that is really important. So one of the outcomes of this class is, of course, getting through the class and getting through your first class in the program. But also, and that's part of what you see here, is also taking the exam because you can add to your certifications the IT plus fundamentals exam certification. And there's information here on that. And when I say here, what I'm talking about is this is our Canvas course, right? Canvas is the way we deliver content here at Fresno City College. So this course is the course that has been set up. I've actually tweaked it. I've been teaching this. I think this is my second year teaching inside the cyber program. I've really enjoyed it. I come from a background of web programming, web development, and so it's adding this IT fundamentals for the cybersecurity has been a nice addition to my teaching set because all important these days and a really understandably popular path for students. So it's fun to have that experience for me, and I hope this class, that's actually my goal, is for it to be a good experience for you. Probably one of the biggest things I've changed for this particular semester is in the past, when I first started teaching it, there was a traditional research paper. And then what I changed last semester was I gave students an option of instead of, or if you didn't want to do a traditional research paper, you could do watch Darknet Diaries, which, by the way, if you don't know about the Darknet Diaries on YouTube, and actually there's a website, Darknet Diaries, I listen to the stories on YouTube, is a great way to get introduced to cybersecurity concepts. And man, I could just go on and on about the things I've learned just by listening to those darknet diaries. So I used to do that. That was my point. So now this semester, I really feel like it's appropriate to change this again because as you all, I'm guessing, have felt, the world is now different than it was even last semester. And the impacts of AI, and in this case, there's multiple tools, but I'll talk specifically about ChatGPT. And all of them are large language models. If you don't know anything about machine learning, it's okay. It's just the way they build the model. And there's just I've also taught I've taught machine learning, so I have a little bit of awareness there. But more than anything, what I've changed, instead of a traditional research paper, what you're going to do is actually do research on chat, and then you'll end up creating presentations. I think end up creating 3 different through this through the course that you'll then, and I'll show you how to do this later so we don't have to get into the details, but just know what you're going to do is you're going to be writing prompts. Okay, so today if you've never written a prompt on ChatGPT, it's not that different in the beginning than doing searches. But it does pretty quickly become very different because what you're doing is you're setting the context for what you want to know. Again, it's not that you have to understand how to use chat completely. This is part of this class because trust me, this is a new tool that you have now in your tool belt. It should and will need in your tool belt to become even more proficient and more effective in this in any field, quite frankly. Now, having said that, there is a caveat we need to throw about chat. And I say this in the course because I actually, as of this point in time, have recorded the videos for your week 1. And so and that's good because it made me kind of think through the changes, how I was going to do them. But at this point, there is a caveat we need to kind of say about chat, is that as good as it is, and I think in more technical fields, it's actually better than in some non-technical fields, mostly because geeks built it, but is that it can lie. And it's not as if it's a person trying to lie to you. It's just that if it doesn't know the answer, sometimes it'll hallucinate the answer. Now, fairly rare, I think, in the way that we're going to use it, but it could happen. But even that can be part of the learning, right? I'm not going to make you go validate everything you see and research on chat, although it's not a bad idea, okay? It's just not enough time for what we're going to do. Okay, so that's what is fundamentally changed about this course. What has not changed are the quizzes and the video content from the IT Pro, which by the way is now called ACI. They changed their umbrella name, but it's still, IT Pro TV. You'll be watching videos, taking quizzes. You'll have PDFs that you'll read through and take quizzes on those. So a lot of what you're doing is just getting introduced. If you don't already have a good, broad knowledge about IT, this will be your opportunity to get there. All right, so the other thing I want to say about this course is that the way I've set this course up is in sequence. You need to move, well, I should say you have to move through the content in sequence. Like we're at the start here, and then once you finish that, matter of fact, let's just go in and show you. I'm actually have Canvas open as a student right now. So right now you're watching the video that I'm recording, and then you would hit next, and then the next item you get is talking about Discord. Okay, so Discord, I run a Discord server for all my classes. Reasons to join? Well, you may have questions when I'm not around, and it's really intended for student-to-student communication. It's not really intended for directly to me. If you want to talk directly to me about something related to the course or more personal in nature, use Canvas. Okay, that's generally a good rule. If you just have a general question, you think, you know what, Rio's probably not up right now, and if you ask that question after about 6 o'clock at night, it's not that I will be asleep. It's just that I kind of tend to shut off my technology to a certain point. I know that may sound weird, but it's true. And so you might have a question that somebody else in the course could help answer if they're also online. So it's a real-time interactive system. If you don't know what Discord is, check it out. I've given a link here. I've also given an invite for you to get onto our server. And then when you get onto the server, let me just say this, the way I run it is I create, and let me move this out of the way, I create channels. Like here's when you come into the server, you'll come into the general. I did also have a code of conduct. These are just channels like Python, cybersecurity. These are channels that everybody on the server will see, but these are channels specifically for classes. So in this case, the only thing you should see when you come in here is a start here. And what you could do is go down there and ask me, like, hey Rio, could I join the CIT48A course channel, and then I would add you into there. Okay, All right, so again, please, oh, by the way, not again, please read the code of conduct. We do have a code of conduct we adhere to when we're doing discussion of any kind. By the way, this actually relates to any kind of written discussion you do in this course, but specifically for the Discord, I've also given it here, but do know it applies everywhere. Just be kind, right? Be nice to people. Don't be rude. And don't be mean. Like, just don't be. It's not helpful to anybody. Okay, so here's some more information. I'm gonna let you go through this because I just really want you to be introduced to, where this course, because there's a lot of this course that was given to me last year. Like I said, I've modified it through the time, and then this talks about how to take the IT Plus certification at the end, some discounts. If I get any updated information, I will share it here. Here's the link to the IT Pro videos, right? But you'll see these as we move through it. But this is the point: is that there's no cost, which I love. I have loved teaching classes. All of my classes that I teach this semester are no cost, and I absolutely love that. I think that's the way we should go. There's so much great content. Now, having said that, this content is a little dated, and we are working on updating this content, but it's still for the fundamental concepts, for the fundamental knowledge acquisition is fine. It hasn't changed that much around some of these fundamental concepts. So again, next. And there's some other things in here I want you to check out, the virtual hub. But I'm going to stop here because I'm going to hit back because I want to show you what's happening over on the course. Like if you go back to home, is you'll see these checks. So as you move through here, right, you'll have to review all of these items before you can get to the week 1, or what we call section 1, right? And so here's where the actual course content begins. You have an introduction video that you'll create. I do have a video showing you how to share these links on there. You'll have and this, by the way, this process, somewhat the same every week. There are quizzes, right? We do generally have some kind of discussion. In this case, it's an intro. There is an orientation just to make sure you've gone through the syllabus and checked that out. And then at the end of the week, here's our discussion for this week, and this is where I go through showing you how to use the basic functionalities of ChatGPT. You can use something else. I'll say it again. But I find, and I even talk about that here, is that chat is the best right now. There's others that definitely could kick it off its throne. Okay, so that's how these weeks go, right? You go take this quiz, right? You then work on your introductory video. There's help for that here. Again, if you need help, reach out. There's a PDF. And then here's the videos that you will then watch to take these quizzes, right? So video quiz, that's just kind of the way it rolls from there on out. So what you can see is by the time I'm going to go ahead and publish this course, we're actually 2 weeks before the start of the semester. I'll probably, at this point, publish this in the next couple of days. And so if you happen to be somebody that gets in, I know somebody, that's why I'm saying this, but there'll be more than one, I suspect, that, here's your work that's due for this week. You do not have to do anything other than check in before the start of the semester, but definitely, if you want to get a head start, you totally can. Not a bad idea, especially considering that I get that this intro video where you have to record yourself, I do it all the time and it's still a little weird, right? Takes a little bit of getting over some nervousness about that. Okay, so what was my point about that is that if you happen to finish all the way through here and you're like, ooh, I'd like to do a little more, well, you can always ask me. I generally will release the second week on the first week of the semester, but if you get through it sooner, you can always reach out and I'll go, hey, I'll go through there. I think I have most of the content ready, but I would just want to refine it. And then what happens each week is that you will, I think I'm going to end up changing these. Actually, they're just view, right? You view the week overview, so it gives you an overview of that week. The way I do attendance is your discussion post. Like if you post, you need to post by Wednesday, and that's talked about in here, and that's how I take attendance in the class. All right, glad you're here. I know this is a lot for that first video, but hopefully it gives you a good introduction to the way the course is set up. You can read the syllabus to find out stuff like late work. Yeah, I do accept late work, not for full points, but it really is more helpful to you and I if you're reaching out and not waiting until the night something is due. Now, I get that things can happen that way as well. I'm trying to be much more flexible, but at the same time holding us both accountable for making sure we're keeping on track. And because this course is so short term, you do not want to get behind too much. There's a lot to do. I don't say that to make you nervous. There's just 9, normally this course is taught in a full semester, and so it's been compressed down. All right. I'm glad you're here. I look forward to getting to know you. Talk to you later.